Right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ian Fisagi. I'm part of the product management team here at Miro Distribution. And just before we get started, I'd just like to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us this morning. It's much appreciated. Thank you so much for your ongoing business and support. And also another thing, we're pretty excited for 2018. I think our relationship with IgniteNet has really turned into something great, and IgniteNet really has a lot to bring to the table. I think there's a few nice, exciting things that's going to come our way in 2018. All right, so yeah, just before I introduce Jonas, I would just like to say that after the webinar, please feel free to ask any questions. Please contact your local branch or your salesperson with regards to stock availability, ETAs, pricing, etc. I will also be available for any questions. And yes, guys, I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, without further ado, Jonas is the head of marketing from IgniteNet. I'm not going to try to pronounce his surname. I think he can do that for us. Thanks, Jonas. You can take it away for us. Thanks.
Okay, hello everyone, and thanks Ian for the introduction. So I'm Jonas, VP of Marketing of IgniteNet, and I am based in cold and snowy Lithuania, where one of our R&D offices is located, and we'll be doing a webinar today to cover Metrolink and cloud managed Wi-Fi product line. So I will talk about the benefits of 60 gigahertz millimeter wave technology and so on. So I guess let's continue and start with the webinar. And before I do that, just to remind you that there is a questions section on the GoToWebinar control panel, which you can use to submit questions for us. And we'll have some time in the end of the webinar to cover those questions. If we will not have enough time to cover them all, then we can do it via email once the webinar is over. So today's webinar is based on the delivering multi-gigabit connectivity topic. And the good news is that you can really use wireless technologies nowadays to deliver those multi-gigabit services to your customers. And specifically when I'm talking about wireless, I have 60 gigahertz millimeter wave band in mind, which is a great open band with a lot of technological advantages that can be used to fight interference, collocation, frequency reuse issues that you are experiencing with traditional or legacy ISM bands like 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So when we begin to speak and introduce our products to the customers, we compare 60 gigahertz millimeter wave products to traditional Wi-Fi products as we would compare a new, let's say, electric car with a traditional diesel. And we really think that 60 gigahertz is the technology of the future, and it's a perfect solution for the fixed wireless access application where you can connect multiple users and do the last mile data transmission, or you can do short backhaul hops delivering really high capacity. So first of all, let's go through a short history of millimeter wave band. So 60 gigahertz is a part of V band, which is also called the millimeter wave, and it was started back in 2001, first adopted and became unlicensed by FCC. So they've given 7 gigahertz of spectrum in the 60 gigahertz frequency area. And just recently, they have introduced another 5 gigahertz, which is on top, giving us a total of 14 gigahertz spectrum to use. And this brings up a lot new opportunities. We really hope that other telco regulators around the world will follow that, and this upper band will allow us to improve the distance of up to 3 kilometers, which would bring a lot more opportunities for you and for us as well. And then application-wise, it includes indoor and outdoor point-to-point and point-to-multipoint products. And in majority of the countries worldwide, it is an open band. So here's a quick regulatory overview. You can see what are the frequency ranges in different parts of the world. And then talking about the benefits of 60 gigahertz, the biggest advantage, or one of the biggest advantages, is that it has a lot of noise-free spectrum, a lot more comparing to 5 gigahertz, 24 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, and so on. And the advantage of having this much spectrum allows us to make really fast multi-gigabit connectivity products working on a very low latency. And the benefit is that we can use lower modulation rates to transmit data over wide channels, which are less suffering from interference or latency issues as well. So this graph on the screen basically shows how much frequency space 60 gigahertz has comparing to 5 or 24 gigahertz as well. Additional benefit is that this frequency is highly secure, and it's great for frequency reuse. So let's talk about the security first. As maybe all of you know, 60 gigahertz frequency is well absorbed by oxygen. So once you are doing a point-to-point link or point-to-multipoint links, the benefit is that the data doesn't travel far beyond the receiving point. While, let's say, if you compare it to 2.4 or 5 gigahertz sectors, you still create a lot of cross interference issues within the network, and the 60 gigahertz data transmission just disappears. That's why it's so secure. You cannot scan or basically reach or see the data beyond the receiving point. Also, 60 gigahertz have very narrow antenna beams, and then it's difficult to catch and somehow intrude that connection, which makes it great in terms of security. Then a lot of people think that 60 gigahertz is great for rural connectivity, but due to narrow beam antennas, the equipment is great for co-location and frequency reuse. So you can use them in urban areas as well, and have same operating channels on a single tower without having any cross interference issues as well. Then another benefit of higher band frequencies is that the higher the frequency is, the smaller the antenna is, and the higher the antenna gain is. So this picture basically illustrates how in real world our largest antenna size compares or looks against very popular 60 centimeter dish. So basically our equipment has high gain antennas, but they are rather small. They occupy less space on the tower, and you can collocate more of them in a single location. Besides that, we have some patents which we have submitted, and specifically in Metrolink products, we are using reflectors to retransmit 60 gigahertz frequency and improve the antenna gain. And also additional benefit which I have not mentioned yet is that all our 60 gigahertz products have an integrated 5 gig radio, which kicks in case there is some fail of 60 gigahertz connectivity. Let's say if you are having strong rain conditions or difficult weather conditions, and somehow the connectivity on 60 gigahertz drops, it automatically switches to operate on 5 gigahertz until the 60 gigahertz link is up. And then a lot of operators, big companies started to invest in fiber some years ago, but after that we are seeing that they are sort of stopping their activities in fiber expansion and looking for alternative technologies. And it gives us a really good sign on where the market is turning, because basically millimeter wave 60 gigahertz products are a great alternative to fiber. We don't say that it must always be used instead of fiber, but we say that it's great to expand fiber networks to hard to reach locations. It takes a lot less time to roll out the network, and also it costs much less as well. So we've seen a lot of companies like Google, Facebook looking into 60 gigahertz frequency and millimeter wave to deliver internet connectivity to the last mile. And of course, Metrolink, I think, and IgniteNet company itself is one of the pioneers in the market in terms of high-speed connectivity. We really have affordable products which you can use to deliver multi-gigabit connectivity and stay ahead of the competition, have reliable high-speed network, and deliver multi-gigabit services to your customers. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about the Metrolink products. What kind of products do we have now, how to use them, what kind of applications are there, and so on. So the typical applications of our products are these. First one is last mile access. So basically our products can be used by operators, by service providers to deliver internet or other type of data connectivity like voice over IP, IPTV, and those products can be used both for the backhaul of the network as well as for the last mile point-to-multipoint connectivity. If let's say 5 gigahertz frequency is not that crowded in your area and you want to use 5 gig for the last mile connectivity, you can still go and deploy millimeter wave devices for the backhaul of the network to preserve the 5 gigahertz frequency for the last mile as well. So it can be used in different combinations, as I was speaking before. You can extend fiber, you can build backhaul, you can build last mile, and so on. and it's great to deploy. It's easy to deploy those devices both in urban areas or rural areas as well. Additionally, it's great for security networks. There's a lot of uncongested spectrum, so there's no interference. The links are very secure due to narrow beam antennas and oxygen absorption of the signal. And also they are high capacity. As we know, the demand for high capacity in video surveillance is really growing because those IP cameras are transmitting lots of data, and you need basically reliable high-speed links to create video surveillance networks. Also, Metrolink products work well in the areas where you need to extend the fiber and roll out your network faster. So there's a lot of customers or service providers who start building hybrid networks where they have fiber rings around certain areas, and then they use millimeter wave 60 gigahertz point-to-point or point-to-multipoint products to deliver last mile internet services. So basically the main advantages for them are low cost, reliable connectivity, and also time to market, because the customers are there, they need high-speed internet connectivity, but fiber is basically just too expensive to use in this specific area, so they can switch over to 60 gigahertz products and roll out their networks using our technology as well. Then, as I said, Metrolink products are ideal for wireless backhaul. It's being used by different type of customers. We have mobile operators using them for small cell backhauling. We also have operators using our equipment for Wi-Fi hotspot network backhauling. As we all know, the demand for connectivity is really growing. So there's more and more access points being deployed, operating in traditional Wi-Fi bands, and then we really need to preserve spectrum and leave the traditional legacy bands for the Wi-Fi access, while we can utilize 60 gigahertz frequency and then use it to transmit data in between the Wi-Fi access points within the city. So yes, this is another application I was talking about, which is Wi-Fi backhaul, where you basically preserve traditional frequencies and use 60 gigahertz instead to interconnect Wi-Fi access points. And basically, when building wireless backhaul with 60 gigahertz, you can have up to 2.5 gigabit capacity between 2 points. So it's really a future-proof wireless backhaul, which will sort of give you sufficient capacity for the future applications once, let's say, 11AX access points or some even later standards are being rolled out, which will need higher and higher bandwidth. Now I'd like to go and quickly introduce the products we have. So first is Metrolink point-to-point products. There are two different versions of this product coming, with a 35 centimeter antenna and a 19 centimeter antenna. And then we already have two generations. So the first generation of Metrolink point-to-point products can reach a capacity of up to 1 gigabit, while the second generation can reach a capacity of 2.5 gigabits. Both of them have 5 gigahertz failover radio, which kicks in if the 60 gig link is failing. And then some of our products have external connectors for, let's say, your own 5 gigahertz antenna. And then instead of 5 gig failover, you can use this radio to have basically Wi-Fi access in specific location. And there are two antenna options, as I mentioned, 19 centimeter and 35 centimeters. So the distances you can go with 19 centimeter are up to 1 kilometer, I would say, while with 35 centimeter you can go up to 1.5 kilometer or 1 mile. And these are sort of recommendational distances. They are, of course, country dependent, because the speed, the connectivity, and the availability of your links depends on the rain rate area in your specific country. And as an example, we have a much longer link in a desert of Arizona in USA, where they were able to connect two 35 centimeter dish products on a 2.5 kilometers or 1.5 mile, and transmit 800 megabits over those two links. Then also let's jump into point-to-multipoint product section. Here we have a lot more options. There are multiple models to choose from based on your capacity and distance requirements. And then we also have introduced some new base stations, clients, which have beamforming antennas, which can reach crazy high 10 gigabit speeds. And I will talk about each of them in my third slides. So first product which I want to talk about is called Metrolink LV. LV means lightweight, and it's not only light but also really inexpensive, and I would say the lowest cost option for our customers to establish 60 gigahertz point-to-point, point-to-multipoint links. This specific product has a powerful quad-core CPU. The total capacity of this device is 2 gigabits, but aside from 60 gigahertz radio, this Metrolink LV product also has 2.4 and 5 gig radios, and those radios can be used as a failover of the link, and as well as Wi-Fi access. So you basically can use this product to build short point-to-point links. You can use it as a base station, as it has a 120-degree beamforming sector antenna for the 60 gig, or you can use it as a universal product which does wireless backhaul and also wireless access using the same unit. And here are the main applications of each different radio. So 60 gig in point-to-point, point-to-multipoint scenario is used as a backhaul radio, as a primary backhaul radio. Then 5 gig radio has sort of two different roles. One of the roles is to use it for failover in case 60 gig is failing. Another role of 5 gig radio could be to work as an access point. And then also there's additional 2.4 gig radio, which is dedicated for the access. So it's basically a nice all-in-one wireless hotspot device where you can do backhaul and Wi-Fi access with the same unit. And with this but small cost-effective device, you can do up to 150 meter links. And another benefit is that it has a 120 degrees beamforming antenna, so it's very, very easy to align and build point-to-point and point-to-multipoint links with this specific unit. In general, 60 gig devices have really narrow band antennas. Usually it is 1 to 4 degrees, so it's sometimes challenging to point the antenna to the right direction, and we are using alignment scopes. We have mobile applications to help to do that, but then the beamforming antenna really solves the alignment issue. As you basically point the wireless client towards your access point, and then it finds the best route or best antenna segment towards the device. Then another very important product for IgniteNet Metrolink is the 10G Omni, which we announced a couple of weeks ago, just before the end of last year. And this is a really powerful and extremely fast device. So it also has a quad-core CPU, and then total throughput of 10G Omni is 10 gigabits, of course. So it's also a tri-band access point, but the difference is that it has 3 60 gigahertz radios, each of them connected to a 120 degree sector. So you can do a 360 degree coverage with both 60 gigahertz frequency, with 5 gigahertz frequency, and 2.4 gigahertz frequency. And it's a really universal device, delivering high capacity, and it also has an SFP plus interface to insert 10 gigabits of data into the device and then spread it to the nearby customers. And here's a simple diagram which explains the role of different radios inside this device. So as I mentioned, there are 3 60 gigahertz degree radios connected to a 120 degrees beamforming antenna and giving us a 360 degree coverage, which is which can be used for both backhaul and last mile communication. Then we have a 5 gig radio with a omnidirectional antenna, which can work as a failover. Then you can also connect 5 gig CPEs to the 10G Omni device as well, and it can be used for the Wi-Fi access. And there's also a 2.4 gigahertz radio connected to omnidirectional antenna, so that one is purely dedicated for Wi-Fi access. So as you see, it's a very universal device, and then you can use it to create really high-speed networks and deliver internet connectivity, do video surveillance, do Wi-Fi hotspot networks, do enterprise networks, and many more. And here are the interfaces available on the 10G Omni. So we have DC in for powering up the device. Then there is a SFP plus port for the 10G connectivity, and gigabit Ethernet port with PoE in for for powering up the device and also management of device as well. And I will quickly go through sort of a summary on what kind of base station and client devices we have available on our product line on the point-to-multipoint section. So we have 3 different types of base stations. First one is a Metrolink 2.5G beamforming sector, with a capacity of 2.5 gigabits. Then we have 10G Omni with a capacity of 10 gigabits, and it has 3 dedicated 60 gigahertz radios inside versus 1 radio in a 2.5G beamforming sector. And then there's the lowest cost, smallest form factor device, Metrolink LV, which on 60 gigahertz actually delivers 1 gigabit speeds, and then the other 2.4 and 5 gig radios deliver another gigabit. So basically, there's the 3 different choices in terms of the coverage you want to do, in terms of capacity, and in terms of cost as well. And then we have multiple client options depending on distance and throughput you want to achieve. So basically, Metrolink Omni can be used as a client to connect to another, let's say, sector or 10G Omni device, and then distance between those two devices can be up to 150 meters. Then there's also Metrolink LV, which can be connected to Metrolink Omni, to the beamforming 2.5G sector, or to another LV device. And the distance with this one is also up to 150 meters. Then there's 2 other client options, which you have already seen in a point-to-point product presentation. So there's a 19 centimeter and 35 centimeter device, and the 19 one can go up to 400 meters, while the 35 centimeter can do up to 700 meter links. And then, as I have spoke, we have dedicated 5 gigahertz radios in the devices, which can be used for failover of the links. And then additionally, you can use them to connect more remotely located clients using 5 gig CPEs. So we have Metrolink 5, which is an upcoming product. And then with this 5 gig CPE, you'll be able to connect customers located within 1 kilometer range around the Metrolink Omni device. Additionally, the Metrolink devices have a cloud controller, which is really cost effective. So you can build up networks, and it only costs $99 per year to have an unlimited number of devices connected to your cloud. So it really helps to reduce operational expenses when troubleshooting your all of the IgniteNet products we are selling, which is Metrolink, cloud managed Wi-Fi switches. All of them can be configured and integrated and monitored via our cloud controller as well. Then part of cloud controller functionality is our link estimation tool called the link path. And in this link path link calculator, you can select different Metrolink products and then calculate what kind of capacity you can expect at different distances in your specific area, because you are selecting the channel you'll be using for that transmission. Then you are also selecting the rain rate zone, which is different from country to country. And you can also select the reliability of your link. So as I mentioned, this tool is a part of our cloud controller, and then you can use it to estimate the speeds and distances of your 60 gigahertz links. Also, I'd like to quickly talk about the accessories of Metrolink products. So we have 2 different mounting brackets. There is a standard version and a high precision version. And then I'd like to point out that all the first generation Metrolink products are being shipped with a standard mounting bracket, while the second generation point-to-point and point-to-multipoint products are shipping without any bracket. So customer basically has a choice to buy either standard or high precision brackets depending on their application and where they are installing the unit. So standard mounting bracket is better for point-to-point links where you need to do some more tilting, and high precision mounting bracket is good for longer range point-to-point links where you have challenges to aim the devices in order to reach high capacity over 60 gigahertz. Then additionally, we have alignment scope, and alignment scope hopes to to target the remote device. And there's a link assist mobile application which can be used together with an external Bluetooth USB dongle. Each of the Metrolink devices actually have a USB socket, so you can connect a Bluetooth USB dongle, and then via this Bluetooth USB dongle you connect your phone to Metrolink device, and you can see remote and local signal levels while doing the antenna alignment. This is a really handy tool for a lot of installers setting up Metrolink devices on the towers. And then small but quite important accessory as well, we have a PoE converter which converts PoE, standard PoE, which is AF or AT to 24 volts, and then allows to power up Metrolink devices with PoE switches. And IgniteNet is also selling some of the PoE switches as well. Then I want to quickly go through a couple of success stories from our customers. So first, and one of the pioneers to start using Metrolink products in US is a service provider called EOT. It's based in New York City, and they're using millimeter wave technology to deliver high-speed internet services to underserved internet communities in Lower Manhattan and Brooklyn. And here's a couple of pictures from their deployments in New York City as well. Then we have another big operator having multiple networks in Caribbean islands, and it's called Digicel. So this company is using Metrolink point-to-point and point-to-multipoint devices to replace traditional 5 gigahertz wireless links, which are really not operating due to high interference in those specific locations as well. Then we have a customer, another example is a customer in Puerto Rico called IgniteNet, and those guys have deployed point-to-point and point-to-multipoint solutions from IgniteNet, and one of the first deployments was to do a disaster recovery when they had big hurricanes that destroyed the majority of their network in Puerto Rico. So they've used the millimeter wave wireless equipment to restore and rebuild their network quickly. Then a couple of other examples. Here's one of our governmental customers, and it's Wellington City Council from New Zealand. So they're using Metrolink point-to-point devices basically for the backhaul of their internal network. Then another another great example is once our devices were used during some of the events, and then it was a combination of backhaul devices and also Wi-Fi access devices. So Metrolink 60 gigahertz point-to-point devices were used to build the backhaul of the network, and our access points were used to deliver internet access or Wi-Fi access for people attending the electronic music festival called Ultra in Singapore. There were more than 50,000 attendees, and then the whole network, whole Wi-Fi hotspot network survived throughout the event. So it's really a good reference for us as well. Then I've just added this small case yesterday. This is actually from South Africa, and the customer is computer shop LED, and they're using this Metrolink devices based point-to-point link to connect their local office with a Plettenberg hotel, basically to provide internet connectivity services. And now I'd like to move on and talk about cloud managed Wi-Fi a little bit. So in general, IgniteNet is using a cloud controller to control and monitor different type of wireless equipment, and we have indoor-outdoor Wi-Fi solutions. We have 60 gigahertz point-to-point, point-to-multipoint. We have wired access products, which is network switches, and the cloud gives us benefit of being able to connect and troubleshoot our networks from anytime, anywhere. So IgniteNet Cloud is really affordable. You can have an unlimited number of devices, and then your data is stored, your statistical information about the network is stored for 30 days. You can extend that by adding some extra memory package on your cloud account. Then you can have unlimited number of sites within the cloud, and then 500 devices per site. So Core Cloud is basically the standard plan, which is most popular between IgniteNet customers. And IgniteNet Cloud Controller gives you a good visibility of your network. So we have a multi-level dashboard where you can monitor your networks at site level, device level, and so on. And as I mentioned before, there's an unlimited number of devices that can be used as added to the network. Also, you can have geographical and custom floor maps, so you can point and locate your devices at exact coordinates the device is placed at. Then you can see live statistical information from the devices. For example, you can see how many wireless clients are connected, how much traffic they are consuming, and so on. And also the cloud keeps statistical data for 30 days. Besides, the cloud is really simple and easy to use. So all you have to do is insert the MAC address and the serial number of the device, and then the device starts reporting to the cloud. You can do the configuration of device at the site level. You can also monitor the devices, receive different alerts, and so on. So it's really flexible and easy to use solution for next generation wireless networks. And then the thing is that there are so many companies selling their Wi-Fi solutions nowadays, so it's really difficult to differentiate your proposal if you are just competing on the specifications part, and we have some other ideas how to differentiate ourselves and our cloud managed Wi-Fi solution. So there's the IgniteNet marketplace, and for the marketplace we could compare, let's say, all the different phone versus the new smartphone, which has a lot of different applications allowing us to do multiple things with a phone instead of just calling, sending messages, and maybe playing a couple of games like we used to do before. So we have a different sort of part of the cloud controller, which is called IgniteNet Marketplace, and then it has lots of different add-ons which can be enabled, and then some of them are for free, some of them are paid, and it's basically to allow service providers to generate additional revenue without having to implement complex systems within their network. So you can do bandwidth management, you can do content filtering, you can do social marketing, internet safety, retail analytics, guest Wi-Fi, and many other things. So basically, when using the add-ons available on our cloud, service providers are one click away from additional revenue streams, which also helps not only helps them in terms of revenue, but also helps them to stand out in terms of variety of services they are delivering as well. And I'd like to show a couple of examples of the applications that we have on our cloud controller marketplace. So first one is called the Family Zone, and the Family Zone is a cyber safety security software which is enabled via IgniteNet Cloud, and then it basically allows to secure your network from intrusions. Also, you can create access routines and sort of control the internet activity of your kids, of your family members, and so on. And here's the Family Zone showcase. So for the service providers, we have a nice package of brochures, newsletters, where we can insert your logo and help you to promote additional services which can generate more revenue to your customers as well. And also majority of the paid services like Family Zone have a trial period of 30 days, which is free, so you can go ahead and try the service, see how it works, and then after 30 days you can commit to buy the service, or you can disable it. And then here's one successful example. So PLDT is the largest operator in Philippines, and they are using Family Zone as additional cybersecurity service to their internet service customers. Then another nice example is integration of SMC video surveillance cameras to the cloud, and this solution helps internet service providers to offer video surveillance services to their end users. The cameras are integrated with the cloud. So basically what the service provider does is he adds the camera to the cloud controller the same way any other devices added by keying in a MAC address and serial number, and then after the end user connects the cameras to the network, they automatically pop up, so the end user can monitor specific locations where the cameras are installed remotely. They have some free storage where they can record the events or specific videos they want to capture from the network as well. And it's simple, very secure, no external NVR is needed. All the data which needs to be recorded is going to the cloud. And there's also a mobile application for live streaming, event notifications, user management, and many other things. So those two like family zone secure watch are one of many applications available on IgniteNet marketplace, which can help you to monetize and bring or generate additional revenue from your Wi-Fi access networks. Then besides that, I also want to talk about our Wi-Fi APs as well. So we have a couple of new products that were just recently announced. All of the new products are using 11AC with 2 standard radios. And let's go through the benefits of 11AC with 2. So the capacity it allows us to reach is up to 2 gigabits. We can use up to 4 streams, so MIMO 4x4 to transmit and receive data. Then also 11AC with 2 devices support multi-user MIMO, which basically allows us to improve the performance of the networks by being able to transmit data simultaneously to multiple users at once. And we also have support for wider channels, which is up to 80 megahertz at the moment. So as I mentioned, the multi-user MIMO allows transmitting data to multiple wireless devices simultaneously, and then improves the overall performance of the network as well. Additionally, we support beamforming, and with beamforming, access point basically focuses RF signal towards a specific client, improving the signal and the connectivity data rate to specific client device. So let's go through the specific models. First one is Spark AC 1200 Wave 2, and it's an indoor and outdoor access point, meaning that it can both be deployed inside and outside as well. It has an IP55 standards rated enclosure and has been deployed in many Wi-Fi networks worldwide, so it can be used in lots of different applications. And this device has a quad-core CPU. The total throughput is 1 gigabit. It has 2 radios, so 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which are able to operate on the device simultaneously. And then both of those radios have omnidirectional antennas, so it can be used for the local Wi-Fi access and hotspot coverage. Then there's also 2 gigabit Ethernet ports, and it has an option to be powered with 802.3 AF switches as well. Another nice device is called Spark AC with 2 Mini, and this device is a pure indoor access point. It's really a small form factor, but still powerful device, which is extremely cost effective. I think it's if not the cheapest, then one of the cheapest enterprise 11 EC with 2 access points on the market, comparing to all of the other competitors offering similar solution. So this model also uses quad-core CPU for data processing. The total capacity is 1 gigabit, and then it has a gigabit Ethernet port, a 100 BST port, and a USB port for powering up the device as well. And then the most powerful enterprise AP on IgniteNet Wi-Fi access product line is called Sunspot AC 2600 with 2. It's also a multifunction access point, so you can use it in both indoor and outdoor applications. It has a quad-core CPU, and then the capacity of this AP is 2 gigabits. It has 2 integrated radios, and then it supports 4x4 MIMO. So this is how the capacity doubles on this specific device. It has 2 gigabit Ethernet ports, which can be powered, and one of them can be powered with a PoE switch as well. And here's a quick summary of 11AC with 2 devices. So you can see what kind of CPUs we are using, what is the maximum data rate that we are supporting, what's the difference in terms of radio output power, antenna gain, port availability, PoE support, indoor, outdoor use, mounting options, and so on. So yes, the webinar is over, and now I will review and see what kind of questions we have received, and we'll go through them as well.